this is the only program I've identified with my whole life. So growing up, all I wanted to do was play here and go to Omaha with this team because I grew up watching that. So to finally do it, it's surreal because I imagined it a million times and dreamt of it, but now that's a reality. It's really cool to be in those shoes.
Coming off a perfect game, second team All-American selection, as well as being named the most valuable player in the Eugene Regional, beating North Carolina in the Chapel Hill Super Regional. We got Arizona's own shortstop, Mason White. Mason, how are we doing today, and how are we feeling about making the College World Series?
Good. We're super pumped. Just super excited to be here. It was a crazy series to get here, but we're finally here, so we're ready to roll.
Yeah, you mentioned the craziness of the series. Obviously, very loud game one, right? Like, and a lot of Arizona fans, I'm sure, had a little bit of concern, but less concern than a lot of people in the country did. Like, people were like, "This is just a blowout. Might as well not even show up for game two," right? And you guys buckled down, bared down, if you will, and won those final two games. So how was kind of that emotional roller coaster of losing that first game by so many runs, and then being able to kind of grind out those next two wins and make the College World Series?
Yeah, we knew the first game was not in our favor. They put a bunch of runs up on the board, and we didn't really do too much. We knew that we swung it well, though. We had a bunch of good at-bats off one of the best guys in the country. Just a bunch of lineouts and long flyouts, and couldn't get the big hit when we needed it. But we knew that was going to prepare us and help us for day two. So we showed up to day two on Saturday. We were super just into it. We knew this was a do or die type game, and we knew we were swinging the bats well. So we just do that, and once we won the game, we knew we got one more game to play. So played that game on Sunday, and it worked out for us.
You're obviously a hometown kid, and your dad played for Arizona baseball. Your grandfather played for Arizona baseball. You have history within this program, but you are the first one in your family to ultimately make it to Omaha. So kind of just what does that mean for you and just your family in general? I'm sure you had some conversations with your dad and your grandfather about just how special this moment was for your family.
Yeah, they didn't get to play in Omaha, so I've watched every College World Series I've been alive for that I can remember. I've watched it. So just being the first one to get here, the two of them, it's huge. It's really cool, and I'm glad they get to come and watch me play here. So I'm super excited to get to share that with them.
Yeah, what does it mean to do that for your hometown team? Like the team that you obviously, it's been storied. Like you were what, 8 years old when Arizona won in 2012. You were watching all of those games. Devastated in 2016 when Coastal Carolina, which we'll talk about here in a second, ended up beating Arizona in the final two games of that series. But like you've been a big time fan of this program, going to games for your entire life. So what does it just mean from that angle of things? Like this team has always meant everything to you, and you finally got to that kind of that pinnacle of the sport, if you will.
Yeah, I grew up in the ballpark watching the Cats play, and I've been raised through this program with my dad and grandpa playing there. They know a lot of people who've played there as well, and so this is the only program I've identified with my whole life. So growing up, all I wanted to do was play here and go to Omaha with this team because I grew up watching that. So to finally do it, it's surreal because I imagined it a million times and dreamt of it, but now that's a reality. It's really cool to be in those shoes.
You had that kind of emotional moment where you stepped away from the team when everybody was celebrating, and after that Game 3 win in Chapel Hill, what was just kind of going through your mind when you kind of kneeled down there and just got emotional for a second?
Yeah, I was just imagining the scenario of clinching the Omaha berth, winning a super regional throughout the last few weeks, I guess you'd say. And then when we were finally in that bottom of the ninth inning, just replaying it through my mind, like what's this going to feel like? Like, what's this? Like, we're so close. Like, how can we close this thing out? Because we know we got Pluto on the mound and everything, but like the North Carolina's a good team. So when we got the first out, got the second out, and then finally the third out, it was like, wow, we did it. Like, we closed this thing out. We're going to Omaha, so we're still playing, and that's all I wanted to do was continue to play with this team. So it was just kind of an emotional roller coaster throughout that whole series, but then it was finally over. I was like, thank God, like we are getting to play more baseball.
Yeah, you mentioned Tony Pluta. He's up for Stopper of the Year, and I'm sure that you guys just have tons of confidence when that guy's on the mound with the lead. So just kind of, what's going through your head when Tony Pluta's pitching?
when I know that Tony gets in the game, be it the seventh or the ninth, I know that okay, like we're in a good spot. Like we're gonna close this thing out. So my whole thing going through a game is like for our pen and starters to do a great job, but just get the ball to Tony with the lead. If we get the ball to Tony with the lead, we're gonna close this thing out because that's what his job is and that's what he's been doing for us all year.
Yeah. You mentioned earlier to me, Mason, that, this was always a dream of yours to play for this program and reach these heights. I don't, I would love to hear more about, your kind of your story of your recruitment, but I don't think that was necessarily always a reality, right? Like it wasn't until Coach Hale took over that you really started being recruited to come to Arizona. So I guess just kind of, can you detail that recruitment process a little bit? Like what was it like? How many conversations were you having with Arizona before Coach Hale? And then kind of what was that recruitment like once he took over?
Yeah, so Coach Dave Lawn was an assistant of the old staff, so he was an assistant at Jay Johnson, and so none. I got no looks. No one called out to me, reached out. No one came watch me play. Then it was the summer of my junior year, going into my senior year. I was at a tryout for area code, and Coach Dave Lawn saw me play there, and he called Jay and said like, "Hey, like we need to get this guy on the phone. You need to talk to him." Um, Jay went to LSU 3 days later, I'm pretty sure, that later that week. So I wasn't sure if I was still talking to Arizona. So Dave reached out to me a week and a half so later after Chip had gotten the job. So Chip was now hired. Dave was held on to as an assistant, but there was only them two. They were the only two coaches left. And we set up a little workout at South Point. Chip came with Dave, and they watched me take ground balls, take BP, and then offered me that night. So I committed pretty much instantly as soon as I got it because I knew this is what I wanted to do, and I knew this is my best option going into my senior year. And I didn't look back from that because I knew they trusted me after what they had seen, and I knew that I would work out in this program.
And with that kind of belief that Coach Hale and Dave Lawn as well instilled in you, what does it mean to be a part of Coach Hale's first trip to Omaha and his first really taste of postseason success in general?
Yeah, it means the absolute world that the only big time Division I program and Division I coach that took a chance on me was Chip, and to get him to be a part of the team that got him to Omaha first is it's insane. Like it's really cool to be a part of that, and we all feel that being on the field as we're playing for Chip. Like he's got our back, we got his back. Like we're gonna do this thing for us, and we're gonna do it for him because he's one of us. He's not like a guy that is mean and doesn't like his players. He absolutely loves us, and he feels like he's a player too. And so he's just the man, and we all just want to succeed for him.
And I have to go here, and unfortunately, it scars all Arizona fans. And I know at your core, you are an Arizona fan. Coastal Carolina, the first game here in Omaha for Arizona baseball. How are we feeling about playing a team that took a chunk out of you when you were a child still, and I'm sure left you a little bit emotionally damaged?
Yeah, it's really cool because I watched that whole series. Super huge fan of that group that was on that team that
Yeah.
year. Crumpos, our strength guy, was on the bench for all those games, so he was here with the team. But being my first game in Omaha, playing against them is almost like I'm stepping onto the field with that team. It'll feel like I know it's not the same coaches, not the same players, but I remember watching on TV. So stepping into that atmosphere is going to be really surreal. So I'm super excited for it.
He is second team All-American, conference tournament player of the year, Mason White, second all-time leader in home runs. The accolades go on and on and on. We appreciate you, Mason, for taking the time, and good luck on Friday for your guys' first game in the College World Series.
Appreciate it. Thanks for having me.